Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I am here with Nes Parker. She is at Deloitte, and she leads their sustainability, climate, and equity work for their government and public services sector. Nes, hi.
Hi, Katie. Thanks for having me. This is such a treat.
Well, I know that you are a Californian, so this must be kind of extra special for you.
It's been so fun being back in my home state. I actually was able to get dinner last night with my cousin, which was like such a treat. And I wanted to start there because I wanted to acknowledge that my sort of sense of the world was really shaped by my childhood here. Being able to visit Tahoe in the mountains, being able to drive to the ocean and the beach, and growing up in the Delta Valley. I think that awe of nature was something I just kind of had as a kid and was so, so special. And I think being able to work on this issue now is so meaningful because it'll hopefully bring us back into harmony, hopefully with each other and with nature.
Well, great. I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you are bringing those nature-based solutions into your professional work.
Of course, yeah. And so if I just step back, I have the just like huge privilege of being able to sort of take care of Deloitte's sustainability, climate, and equity offering for public sector. And I think public sector in particular is just such a meaningful place to sort of start with a lot of these solutions. I think the public sector has such a unique role to actually design, manage, and implement solutions that hopefully really center on sort of people, planet, and prosperity. And nature is like a key feature of that. So to that end, our team has done quite a bit of work as it relates especially to water management, which is such a key issue here in sort of the West Coast, unfortunately. Another area, though, is we've been working with the University of Colorado Boulder, and we're actually working with them to do research for a sort of corporate client, if you will. And they're really interested in looking at sort of their agriculture measures with nature-based solutions. And actually looking at how do you improve soil health and crop resilience and whatnot. And I think this is sort of a longer term view. I think so often we've seen, whether it's public or private sector, a lot of times these solution sets were kind of in these moments of crisis, right? Where there was an extenuating circumstance. I think Hurricane Sandy is a good example of this with oyster castles. But I think we're now starting to take a longer term view with our clients, which has been so meaningful.
Yeah, well, and go Buffs.
Go Buffs, fellow California native here as well. Ski patrol mother and surfer father, so the natural habitat around us is quite important.
Yeah.
Much of your history and work experience is centered on equity, particularly human trafficking efforts and refugee
Hopefully anti-trafficking for the record.
Yes, yeah, very key word that I've forgotten there. How has that informed your work with Deloitte?
Yeah, so much so. And so these are issues that are just really close to my heart. I've worked on them in those cohorts for a long time. I have to give a shout out though to actually my mom. She used to teach women's studies and ethnic studies. And so these topics were like very much like at our kitchen table every night. And I took that with me in sort of my career. So being able to center around equity again in this work has been so meaningful. And we're here obviously at Bloom, and it was incredible listening to the sort of the last conversations, particularly around Indigenous communities. And I really want to mark how Indigenous communities have been leaders on nature conservation. And I think that's just such an important thing to sort of hold and mark. And I was reading, with the World Wildlife Fund, there's research, that shows that Indigenous communities represent 5% of the world's population, yet they are protecting over 80% of the Earth's biodiversity, taking care of wetlands and, deserts and forests, and you name it. And it's just so meaningful. I also think there's been research that WEF, the World Economic Forum, where they showed that 91% of Indigenous peoples and sort of local community lands are in good ecological standing. And I think this just speaks to, and it's just a testament to the effectiveness of Indigenous stewardship in managing really complex natural environments.
We have so much to learn from
so much
from those communities. I agree.
Yeah.
And we have so little time to ask you the question I'm going to ask you. 43 seconds, but a call to action based on what we heard today on the keynote program. Call to action on nature-based solutions, biodiversity,
I could
needs,
say
gaps,
nature-based solutions are an important tool in the toolkit, right? And they help us reduce emissions. They also help us prepare for the impacts that we are inevitably going to face. And I think they're just such an important one. And I guess I would maybe just kind of close with, they are part of the sort of fabric for climate action and hopefully inclusive climate action.
I agree. And I would encourage, if anybody has a chance to talk to Nes more, there's so much more to cover here.
Yes.
But we're so grateful to have you. Nes Parker, again, with Deloitte, working on the sustainability, climate, and equity work within the government and public services sector.
Thanks so much,
you
you too.
Thanks,
Take
Nes.
care.
Thank you.